Yes, read the notice, this is a special meeting.
There will be a special meeting of the legislature for Friday, March 18, 2016 at 10 a.m. in the Legislative Chambers, 100 North Street, Monticello, New York. The purpose of the meeting is to address the commissioner vacancy and the Board of Elections. You have one resolution.
You have one resolution?
To appoint Democratic Commissioner of Elections to fill vacancy.
Before we have the resolution, could we allow the public to speak?
I would like the public to speak also.
At this point, as a point of order, that will be my decision, but I can also ask all the legislators which they want. I can take a vote as a point of order there, if you want the public to speak, the majority of you, yes.
I'd like the public to speak. We all know where we're voting, and let's get it done.
But I think we should allow the public to have their say.
This is a democracy.
I think we've all got emails. I've got more emails than I have on the $204 million.
I'm going to read some of those emails,
I read them all.
but I'm going to read them publicly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we can't,
We can have discussion on the resolution, but I would really request that the public have a say. They're all out here on a Friday morning.
because it is a point of order, I will ask all the legislators to vote on it, and then we'll proceed from there on. Okay, can you call them and ask them?
Sure. Mr. Alvarez?
No.
Mrs. Raj? Yes. Mr. Samuelson?
No.
Mr. McCarthy?
No.
Mrs. Owens?
Yes.
Mrs. Ward? No. Mr. Perrella?
Yes.
Mr. Steingart?
No.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Okay, there will be no public comments.
You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding. We want our voices heard, yes. You are in America, the democratic process.
There was chairman of a county legislature translated for you.
Excuse me. We're here to have a meeting, we're gonna finish this and conduct it and, go on with our day, please. Will we please proceed?
Call the motion for the resolution.
I'll make a motion.
I second that for discussion.
Discussions, Nadia? I mean,
I do want to read some of the emails that I received, or the legislators have, but in lieu of not having a public comment, I'd like to read them. I would also like to disclose that my daughter works in the Board of Elections. I was not involved in her hiring. I don't have any influence over what happens in that office, but I do want to disclose that she does work there before we take the vote. So starting with emails, I will make this brief. We did receive one in favor of Cora from Christine Sayward, Mamakating Democratic Party. Village of Liberty, Robert Neer. We have one of Ron Lichtman from Callicoon. We have Cindy Geiger. We have Jill Wiener from Callicoon as well. Joanne Krastowski from Callicoon. Please honor the results of the free and fair election held by the County Democratic Committee by appointing Cora Edwards, Democratic Commissioner of the Board of Elections. Again, this is only for 8 months. I don't know what all the hoopla is about. This is 8 months. It was sanctioned by the Democratic Party, certified by the Democratic chair. We are just here to confirm that appointment. I'm not sure what all of this is about. Here's another one from Nancy Lou Lee, and the list goes on. Joan Stoddard. It goes on and on and on in the affirmative for Cora Edwards.
I would like to speak. I would like to say that my constituents have told us that we already have a black mark against us for our failure to fight voter fraud.
Yes.
And now, to refuse to honor a democratically elected appointment for the Board of Elections would bring us another black mark, like, for example, the failure to allow public comment. And finally, I wonder procedurally why we are having a special meeting. We had a meeting yesterday, we had a quorum, and we could have voted on this yesterday. My constituents have told me that this appears improper. It appears to smack of vote counting and manipulation.
Yes.
There's been a lot of talk and emails of respecting the process that the party went through to put this nomination forward. But until the state or even the parties take the financial and legal onus of the Board of Elections, this legislature is still part of that process. That is what has been disrespected through this whole thing. And I can tell you right now that just because what has been done in the past what has always been done does not make it right. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I was elected to pull the drain on the stagnant water that has plagued Sullivan County for years. I can tell you right now that I am pulling that drain, and I'm going to fill it with crystal clear water so we can move forward as a county and do what's right for our taxpayers.
Stop the corruption! Stop the corruption!
I would like to speak. Yeah. I think, I get concerned when elected officials think they know so much that they can second guess what the electorate has decided. When I became a legislator, all of us here took an oath of office.
That's right.
That oath was to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of New York. And that Constitution, those constitutions confirm that we live in a representative democracy. I am here because I was duly elected. I represent those people not only who voted for me, but those who voted against me. And I represent all of those people. And I just want to read a brief passage from the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. We don't derive our powers from the consent of the elected. We derive our powers.
That's right.
I can't tell you how many hours I've wasted taking calls, just this whole manipulative process. Our actions here as a legislature are simply to affirm what the Democratic Committee,
That's right.
through Democratic elections,
Yes.
has chosen the person to represent them as their election of commissioner.
Yes.
We
Yes,
need to
yes.
uphold that election. That's all we need to do, is confirm. We're not here as God second guessing what the Democratic Committee has selected. And I take offense to those that think they're empowered to do so.
It's a conflict of interest. The conflict of interest for
Why
the...
you folks voted no. Give the public a reason, and this woman that was elected to this position,
Excuse
each
me.
of you have a voice. You
Excuse
said
me.
no, why?
There is no public comment.
Stifle.
You're sitting over there and telling us to follow the orders, and then you're not following the orders, but you want us to follow the orders.
Oh, come
Gag
on.
rules.
Not even
Those
close.
are rules.
Gag
They're-
rules.
Nobody
Those
be
are
this
rules.
angry.
Police
if you follow
rules,
the
gag
democratic
rules.
process.
Let me call the vote.
Wake
for
up,
it.
Louis.
Louis, I'd like to say something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just go ahead.
If I may. There was a great guy that still works for the county who said to me a long time ago that, Mark, something doesn't have to be inappropriate. It just merely has to give the appearance of impropriety.
And smell.
And
That's right.
if I may finish, this is not about ability to me. Cora's a brilliant woman. No question she could do this job, no question. But what this is about, to me, is if you're an elected official, and you decide not to run for office, and then you decide that you want to be a commissioner, and then you come to the legislature and say, appoint me, to me, that reeks. It gives the appearance. Excuse me. I didn't interrupt you, so please don't interrupt me. It gives the appearance of impropriety to me. And I'm like Alan, I was sent here by my constituents. And I'm a Declaration of Independence guy. I believe in free speech. But, you know, people have been tarred and feathered that didn't deserve it. That was the will of the people, was it not? So I have a responsibility, and you know, to say we're here just merely to confirm, that's not so. If that were true, then we wouldn't be voting for it. That's not true at all. We're here. It's nothing different than the President of the United States putting forward a name for Supreme Court justice and then saying the Senate is doing nothing more than
Interfering with the board is a conflict.
Excuse me. This is why there's no public comment, because people can't control you.
That's why you can't have it. You don't want to hear it.
I would, Mark, my response to that.
Alan, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
You know, to me, this gives the appearance of impropriety, and it shouldn't happen. If this were my own brother,
See where this is going.
he would not get confirmed. I agree with Terry that this is what's wrong. You know, all the political wrangling that went on was unbelievable and distasteful to me.
There'll be more.
Well, fine. Let there be more. There always is.
I think the impropriety is calling a special meeting when we had a quorum yesterday. Are we redefining what is a quorum?
That's up to the chairman, I believe.
Well, I would like to respond, though. I think there's a fundamental difference here. The legislature didn't set out and choose a person to fill the Democratic election commissioner position. The Democratic committee, through a democratic process, held an election, and they nominated Cora to fill that position. Who the person is immaterial to me. The fact of the matter is, we need to respect the democratic process and the election of the Democratic committee. It's not.
If it wasn't, then why are we here?
The person was certified by the chair of the party.
So that's what's always been done, so that's what we always should do. We should just be rubber stamping whatever we're told to do. Is that what you elected us to do? Rubber stamp?
Follow
You're not a Democrat.
Don't make your own, follow it.
Where's the law?
Where does it end? You know,
Before I go to
It
the
ends
vote,
here, Alan, that's where it ends.
Yeah.
and I would like you very much if you can respect us as we try to respect you. And it's not right to sit in there screaming and yelling at us over here. That's not. We here, each one of us was voted by the people that we serve. We have our own mind, we can make our own decisions, we can make our own votes. Allow us to represent the people we represent. And each one of us has to vote here. I am going to allow, as the chairman here, Cora Edwards to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you giving me this concession. I am a little bit surprised, I will say this, that public comment was not allowed in this agenda, particularly because I stood on, the campaign I ran on was local democracy. And I'm standing before you today because I believe in local democracy. I'm standing before you today because I believe in the grassroots. And a lot of people have said to me, why did we go to vote that night on March 2nd in the party? There was a weighted vote. And I would like to address several of the honorable legislators with regard to their interpretation of the law. I have spoken to 4 lawyers. I have spoken to the Board of Elections in Albany. And the administrative code, my understanding of the administrative code, and any lawyer can challenge me on this, is that a political nomination is not part of the waiting period for a legislator, right? That's what's been cited by Mark in the newspaper. Now, having said that, if you decide that you would like to have a waiting period for a political nomination for someone that was elected by the party for a political position, you're right as legislators. It's your right as legislators to put that in the law, to go through the process and change the law, and to change the charter as we did. Hopefully you won't, have a lawsuit for changing the charter, but there will be changes to the charter if you so deem. But in the meantime, there is no bar. There's no, and believe me, if any one of those lawyers had said, don't run because it fits this section of the passage, I wouldn't have run. But I did run. I ran to give people a choice. They chose me. You're confirming an appropriations line in a budget. I don't mean to sound like a teacher in front of a blackboard, but reasonable people whether they voted for me or didn't vote for me, are here today. It's going to be a lot of hard choices in the next 4 years. At least let the Board of Elections have a commissioner so that all these elections coming up, whether it's for the primary for the president, whether it's for the congressperson, and all the school board machines, all of that, can you just let somebody be in there to do the job that the Democratic Party chose? Can you let the wheels of government keep moving? Thank you.
Let's vote.
Scott Sanderson,
No.
Nadia Raj,
Yes.
Catherine Owens,
Yes.
Terry Ward,
No.
Mark McCarthy,
No.
Joe Perla,
Yes.
Iris Steinberg,
No.
Alan Swanson,
Yes.
Louis Alvarez,
It's a tie, isn't it? I think it's a tie.
Sorry, Mr. Louis.
The what?
We already saw it.
Don't do it.
The what? I knew this was gonna happen. It's in 44 in the middle there. The what? Then it's gonna be my,
Yes, this is gonna be your legacy.
the what?
It's gonna be your legacy.
Can't hear you.
Your legacy.
It's gonna be my legacy.
La historia. Será la historia, aquí.
La historia de nosotros.
Sí, de
en
todos.
este país. All right, I'm gonna vote yes. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Second.
McCarthy, you're a...
Well done.
Give you a lot of cardio.